So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Bigamist 1953. Giving it 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this flick. I was disappointed. Movie poster said wanted by 2 women. Another cult cinema classic. Stinger. I got all excited when I saw film noir, but then there's drama in front of it, which is Gone with the Wind and Double Indemnity mashup. I don't know. I don't know what drama film noir means, but once again, on my list it says film noir, but then when you click on the video it says drama film noir. The Bigamist is a 1953 U.S. drama film noir directed by Ida Lupino, who also stars in the movie as one of the women. Also stars Joan Fontaine. I mentioned Ida Lupino, Edmond Gwynn, who was in Miracle on 34th Street, which I have not seen. There's even a crass cross-marketing to Miracle on 34th Street. Edmond Gwynn. They mentioned his name in the movie during the bus tour. Edmond Gwynn. Yeah, Edmond O'Brien, who's in a ton of movies that I've seen. Producer, screenwriter Collier Young was married to Fontaine at the time and had previously been married to Lupino. The Bigamist has been cited as the first U.S. feature film made in the sound era in which the female star of a film directed herself. Okay. So I guess Ida Lupino qualifies as a feminazi. Harry Edmond O'Brien and Eve Graham, Joan Fontaine, want to adopt a child as Eve is infertile. Adoption agent Mr. Jordan, Edmond Gwen, advises the couple that as a matter of routine, he needs to investigate their backgrounds and current lifestyle thoroughly. Harry responds with a worried, pensive look, which concerns Jordan. Hey, where's Karate Man? It's like 6:04. Harry and Eve live in San Francisco and are co-owners of a business, with Harry traveling to Los Angeles frequently for work. Jordan arrives at Harry's Los Angeles office looking for information about Harry. The receptionist calls around to all the hotels, but none of them have Harry Graham registered. 1 or 2 of the managers remember Harry, but he hasn't been checked into their hotels in months. Jordan is puzzled, even more determined to investigate Harry. He visits the address listed in the phone book for a Harrison Graham, and there he finds Harry with a different wife and a baby. When Jordan is about to call the police, Harry tells him via a lengthy flashback how he got into this situation. Upon learning of Eve's infertility, Harry suggested that she join him in his business as a means of coping with her disappointment. Though she'd done well at work, she soon began to focus solely on the business, leaving Harry feeling lonely. While staying in a hotel in L.A., Harry met an interesting woman named Phyllis, Ida Lupino, on a bus tour Hollywood movie stars' homes, including Barbara Stanwyck and Edmond Gwynn himself. So what happened was Harry had this letter opener that said Harrison on it. And that's how Jordan got the clever idea to look up Harrison Graham in the phone book. Harry and Phyllis spent time together, but they parted with Harry not expecting to see her again. Talking on the phone with Eve that night, Harry tried to tell her about Phyllis and his loneliness, but Eve was interested only in talking about business. She pretended like he was being sarcastic or something. I thought I was watching Life of the Married. Oh, I thought I was watching The Mind of the Married Man television show. Back home, he tried again to explain how he believed they needed to work at becoming closer. He suggested planning a vacation together, but she dismissed the idea, saying she was pleased with the state of their marriage. In LA, Harry began seeing Phyllis again, platonically at first, but romantic feelings developed, not wanting to fall in love. Phyllis had not allowed Harry to share with her anything about his background and thus remained ignorant of his marriage. On Harry's last night in town, they spend the night together. Back home, Harry resolved to rededicate himself to his marriage and planned for someone else to handle the LA business. Eva was fully receptive, and she apologized for having been so emotionally distant. She embraced the idea of their adopting a child after having rejected it years before. However, at this point, her father took ill, and she had to spend time with their family in Florida. Well, this kind of reminds me of my second marriage. His mother wasn't infertile. She just refused to get pregnant again. So I suggested adoption, and then she filed divorce. Such is the state of marriage these days, as the priest would say. Hope my son doesn't have to go through that rigmarole. Anyways, release date December 3rd, 1953, 80 minutes long. Too long. The budget was negative 50,000. How could that be? I'm trying to pull up the article, but it won't let me. Negative 50,000 budget. Negative cash costs. And the box office was 700,000. Okay. She embraced the idea of their adopting a child after having rejected it years before. However, at this point, her father took ill. She had to spend time with their family in Florida. Harry stayed at home and began the adoption process. 3 months later, with Eve still away, Harry had to return to LA to tend to business interests there. But I think he had other interests. He discovered Phyllis was pregnant. I guess he got her pregos. They spent the night together off camera, sort of like a double indemnity. Anyways, well, Fred McMurray didn't get Barbara Stanwyck pregos, but you could tell when she was smoking on the couch what they were doing beforehand. I said that before. She told Harry that she didn't wished to trap him and that he was free to leave. However, Harry would not turn his back on the responsibility he felt toward her and to their child. He planned to call Eve, confess his infidelity, and ask for a divorce, but then came news of her father's death. Hearing how distraught she was, he couldn't go through with this plan, but also couldn't abandon Phyllis, and instead married her bigamistly. Bad decision. You violate God's law. With Eve pinning all of her hopes for happiness on becoming a mother, Harry had hoped to maintain his secret double life long enough for the adoption to be finalized, then divorce Eve, who then at least still have her child. What a stupid plan that was. In the present, upon hearing the story, Jordan leaves without calling the police. He says, I'm not a police officer. I'm an adoption dude. Harry writes a farewell letter to sleeping Phyllis, and he leaves the house. Eve returns to San Francisco as Harry is about to meet the police who are waiting for him there. Harry is tried for bigamy, and his two wives finally meet in court. The judge notes that once Harry has served a sentence, he'll be legally obligated to support both women. With regard to Harry's personal life, it won't be a question of which woman he'll go back to, but rather which woman will take him back. The film fell into difficulty when RKO Pictures pulled out of the picture, leaving filmmakers to distribute it. The film received rave reviews at the time of release, with Howard Thompson of the New York Times calling it filmmaker's best offering to date. Filmmaker's best offering to date. The plot cheekily mines aspects of Lupino's own private life, sharing same script writing husband with Fontaine, an extramarital pregnancy with Duff, and showcases the Hollyweird homes of some of her friends on a See the Stars bus tour. So, in other words, this movie is about the sick and twisted life of Hollyweird people. But they made it about regular, normal people instead. The film has since earned acclaim from critics and is included in the book 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. I would call it the 1001 Movies You Must Not See Before You Die. Chris Fujiwara calls it a haunting film, which is one out of several out-of-nowhere masterpieces to be directed by Lupino. He particularly praises the final courtroom scene, which he considers to be shattering, with a combination of ambiguity and intensity that recalls both Carl Dreyer and Nicholas Ray. I'm not a big fan of Nicholas Ray. When the two female leads exchanged glances with each other in court, they both knew what it meant to be married to the same man in real life, an inside joke not lost on Hollyweird. The Encyclopedia of Film Noir considers The Bigamist to be the unusually ambiguous for the period. Ray Hagen and Laura Wagner remarked The Bigamist is not a sensationalized rendering of potentially sordid subject, but a very human story of a man, Edmond O'Brien, tangled between two women. Leonard Maltin gave it a 3-star rating, calling it one of Lupino's best directorial efforts. In other words, it's a lamestream film again. Oh, I'm sick of these lamestream films. Why is this on Cult Cinema Classics? Because it's public domain. That's why. Oh, man. Brutal. Today was brutal. The only movie that I really loved today was, I don't know. can't even remember the last movie that I really loved. Oh, it was the giant Gila monster. That was the only movie that I really loved. So yesterday I had better luck. I think, or maybe I didn't. I think I had the same luck yesterday. I really loved one film and I hated the two other ones. Same as today. My list is not getting better. It's getting worse by the day. My Netflix DVDs were, for the most part, horrible. So the other list isn't that great either. But occasionally I come across something decent, like the giant Gila monster. All right. So going down my list, I've got The Unholy Four, 1954, Triple Cross, 1966, Hold Me While I'm Naked, 1968, Head, 1968, and 1990, The Bronx Warriors, 1982. That's what I have to look forward to tomorrow. I am looking forward to the first one, not so much the second one. But the next three, I think I'm going to like. So cross my fingers tomorrow. I think tomorrow. What's all this red stuff on my hand? Oh. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to have a better list. Last 2 days have been disappointing. I'm sorry to give you all these bummer reviews, but I got to tell it like it is. Okay, The Bigamist, skip it, don't watch it. It's Ida Lupino's conceited effort to impose her sordid lifestyle onto film, changing the characters around with different occupations. She's a waitress. Edmond O'Brien owns a business that does dry cleaning or something. I don't know. I forget what kind of business he runs, but anyways, it just changes the characters' professions around. Basically, it was a story of Ida Lupino's personal life. And also producer, screenwriter Collier Young was involved with it too. So they had to make a movie like this. I think it's a waste of film, honestly. But they did make a considerable amount of money. Yeah, it says negative cash cost. What is that all about? I'm curious now. That's the only interesting thing about this movie, is that it had a negative cash cost, according to Wikipedia. Anyways, not a good flick. I didn't like it. Laters.